was like. Hey, we're on live. Good morning, Sheena. Okay, Sheena,
Morning.
you're based in Canada. Yeah, I
Yeah.
heard that it's cold over there. How are you
Yeah.
this morning?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me, Virginia, on your show. I
Of,
truly appreciate it. And
of
thanks
course, of
to
course.
everyone who's listening today.
Yeah, it's been a it took me a long time to find somebody willing to speak out as an Asian woman. Seriously, when I saw when
Yeah.
I found you on the Facebook and the social media, I was like, let me send her a message and see get this moving since I've been looking for somebody willing to talk as an
Yeah.
Asian woman. I felt that it is so important for us to speak up. A lot of them that I come across that they are very private, they keep it to themselves, and they're not willing to like podcast or go on live to tell their story living in America. So tell me about the Tao of Self Confidence.
Sure. I mean, thanks
Yeah,
for having me again. Appreciate it. And yeah, it's true. As an Asian woman, we've been brought up to never make any noise, stay in the background. And because of that, we end up not sharing our story, or we're too afraid to share our story because a part of us feel like we're not enough or we're not worthy. But I want everyone to realize like they do have a story and your voice
that's
matters.
true.
And that's how I started the Tao of Self Confidence. Growing up in Canada, I never really had someone to look up to that looked like me. I mean,
That's right.
I wanted to name myself Heather, have blonde hair and blue eyes because that's all I ever saw on TV, and I thought that was what beauty was, to be
Right.
white and not Asian. And so I was really ashamed of being Asian at the time because I didn't think I was beautiful enough. And as I grew up, I started to appreciate who I was and my culture and where I came from. And with being able to work on myself, I realized a lot of people need something where they can turn to. And so that's how I started the podcast. I started it one as a support system for Asian women because I wish I had this when I was growing up. And even all the other Asian women that I've interviewed on this podcast said the same exact thing. They wish they had something that they could listen to where they can relate to other people that
That's
look
right.
like them and just be able to overcome all the obstacles they've been able to overcome. Yeah. And
Yeah,
then another reason why I created the podcast was because representation is huge, right?
of course.
We don't have a lot of representation as Asian women, and the representation we do have is still the quiet, submissive, and obedient type. And because of
Yes,
that,
the
we
culture.
end up, yeah, society doesn't see us in leadership roles, which is such a shame because I've interviewed over 700 Asian women
Oh,
about,
wow.
yeah, about the topic of self-confidence and how they're able to overcome it. And that is not the case, right? Being obedient, submissive, quiet is not the case. We're strong,
Right.
powerful women, and the more stories we share, the more women can see that what's possible for them is possible in
That's
themselves.
right.
And so that's why I started it. It was really because
It was great.
it started with something that I really wanted growing up, and I really wanted to have something for future generations or even Asian women who are struggling right now to realize their own capabilities, their own worth, and go out there and forge their own path.
That's right. Yeah, for me, well, let me tell you a little bit about my background, my history. I was born and raised in Singapore. So, um, yes, in Chinese culture, we are pretty strict. The first thing I remember is, of course, the cane will come out first if you disrespect your parents or elderly. Those are the olden days. And when I was teenage, after my parent passed away when I was very young teenager, my dad passed away when I was 13, and my mom passed away when I was 16. So my brothers, most of my brothers already in the United States. So after my parents passed away, they shipped me over here, so they can watch me and keep me straight. Since then, yeah, it was pretty tough when we moved to United States because we are Asian. And slowly I built up my self-confidence. And till now, this day, my daughter, she's 23 years old now, she would still say that you are so different compared to other Chinese women. I said, there you go. That's right. I want to be the special one, you know. So I'm pretty open. I speak up. I have my own voice, and that's how I go about it. Yeah, it's pretty good that you set up this and have a voice for everybody. The funniest thing is you know, sometimes when people look at me differently, especially when I was younger. I'm in my 50s now. But anyway, like I say, next Saturday will be my 53rd birthday.
Oh, advance happy
Yay!
birthday.
And I'm proud of myself. Turn 53. I'm nothing to hide. You know, it is what it is. I'm. It's just a number. As long as my heart go for it, it'll be
Yeah.
good. Yeah. I remember a couple of times, and people do look at me in a different way. It's not being a bad mouth, but a lot of um, Asian women doing what they're not supposed to do uh, as a professional prostitution. So a lot of places that I went, they look at me differently. And let me tell you guys, yep, I am not one of those. This is what I go through a lot too. People just look at me different. It's probably is because of my outgoing, being friendly, being open. So it's okay. People will figure it out. Not every Asian are a prostitute.
Yeah.
Yeah. So tell me about your family.
Yeah, so my parents were born in the Philippines, and so
Hmm.
was I and my two sisters. So there's three of us. I'm in the
Uh-huh.
middle. I'm the middle child, and we came to
Hmm.
Canada when I was 7,
Oh,
and
okay.
we've been here for over 30 years now, but we did go back to the Philippines for a little bit
Oh,
because my
okay.
grandfather was sick, so we lived there for about 3 years, and when he passed away, my parents decided
Oh,
to come
really?
back. Yeah, I mean, they really wanted to have a better quality of life for their kids and have more opportunities if by
Sure,
moving
sure.
to Canada, and that was important. And I'm just grateful that they were able to do that. I mean, back
Of
then we would
course.
fight saying,
Shorten.
"Why did we move? I don't want to move. I'm settled to where I am." But it really helps us learn to adapt in new environments, like quickly adapt to
Okay.
it. And
Right.
when change comes, like we just learn to adapt. And so it's a great lesson. Back then, it wasn't a great lesson. It was really like we did not want to move here again, especially when your life is pretty much settled. But I'm just grateful we were able to do that.
Good, good, good. Do you have any kids?
No.
Oh, okay, okay, okay. Well, I have, like I say, my daughter is 23 now. My son is 18, so they're pretty grown up. Um, another thing, I'm very glad and happy that I just, well, should I say I'm retired? Yeah, recently, I've been working with animals for many decades. I'm telling you, probably I started working with animals in Singapore, SPCA, when I was 15 years old. So I got into grooming as a professional groomer. So you're talking about over 30 years I've been working with animals, and it's time for me to step back and let the younger one go move forward, take over. Yeah, yeah. Well, animals have been all these years I have learned a lot from them. Uh, they taught me so much. Let me tell you, it is something. Compassion, kindness, and love. Patience, especially as I am a professional trainer and the behaviors. So patience is the first priority. How to communicate with. any kind of anime. Yeah,
Awesome.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So other than that, I know you are author too. You write. You write a lot
Sorry.
books. Did you write a lot of books?
We do have two books coming out in
Oh, cool.
2021. So
Wow.
one of the books that I co-created with another lady is called Asian Women Who Boss Up, and that's coming out in 2021.
I like
And
title.
yeah, thank you. And it's going to feature 16 Asian women who are going to share their stories about how they are able to forge their own path and thrive. And this was very important because I'm always trying to find different ways to expand Asian women's voices, elevate it.
Of
And
course, of course.
the book was a great idea because you don't see a lot of books on Amazon that feature Asian women on a cover. It's rare. And
Mm,
so this is why we created this book because it was really important to showcase that and show others like they can also be in the cover of a book. And so we have
of
that coming out
course.
in 2021. And another book, which is a book I'll be featured on, is Women of Color Who Boss Up because as women of color, we still don't get a lot of representation. It's 2020 and we're still getting very little representation. And so it's the same thing. Like we just want people to realize their own worth, what's possible in themselves.
Hmm,
And,
hmm.
if they see someone that kind of looks like them who's able to do the same thing, forge their own path and thrive, they can see what's possible in themselves. So it's really just helping other people, especially women out there, realize their own potential through,
Right, right.
power of media, whether it's podcasts and writing this book and other sources of media.
So you have 16 Asian women get together and create this book. Is that
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Wow, that's wonderful.
It's
That's
amazing.
wonderful.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to see the book in the market. You say
Yeah.
2021?
Yeah.
Okay, approximately what month do you know?
So the Asian one probably in March of
Oh,
2021, so coming
it's
soon,
good.
and the other book will be in May 2021.
Oh, okay. So tell me the first book, how long did it take you guys put everything together?
Um, but to get all the authors, probably about 3 months. So we just,
Oh,
yeah,
three
it,
months. Oh, that's pretty
yeah,
good.
yeah. I mean,
Oh,
when you have someone that you're working together with, I mean, it does make it a lot easier because you both are working towards the same vision and mission, and
teamwork.
yeah, teamwork, having accountability, and even when you have days where you're like thinking this is not going to happen, there's someone there who's cheering you on and telling you like it's okay, these things happen, you'll get rejected, you'll have bad
Oh,
days, but if you keep going, we will get this done, we'll get this done no matter what, because we know it's needed in the market, we know it's needed for women out there to realize their own potential through this
sure.
book. Yeah.
Sure. Wow, that's so interesting. Wow, one is in March and one is in May. Wow, and that shows me you ladies are really powerful as an Asian woman and
Thank
doing
you.
teamwork as a dream work. I always say that when I was at work, teamwork is a dream work. As
Yeah.
long as we are all on the same page, we'll get things done. You know, there's nothing is impossible as you put
Yeah.
your heart and soul into it, right?
Yeah. Yeah,
That's what
totally.
it
I always
is.
say better together.
I So what are you going to do the rest of the day? Since you say you
uh,
flew out, any special
well,
thing?
stay home because our city's kind of in a lockdown, and so
It's locked down.
yeah, so we're just gonna stay home, stay with
Okay,
family, do some work, things like that.
cool, cool, cool. Yeah, I just spoke to my brother in LA yesterday. I didn't even know. I know it's in the high level. He say everything is shut down. Yeah,
Hmm.
because he is pretty active and he play a lot of badminton and the club everywhere is shut down. I did plan to go to visit my brothers. One is in Connecticut, and one is in LA, and one is in New York. I cannot travel anywhere. They do not want me to go to them because the level is so high.
Yeah.
I just want to spend my birthday with them. I can't even go through that.
Yeah.
Yeah. But hopefully, like we all say, hopefully everything will go smoothly and the level bring it down with this COVID-19. um, like we all say, keep your gyms to yourself. Be
Yeah.
hygiene. Yeah. So, is there anything we should cover up, like the Tao of Confidence? This is so good when I was looking at your website and the podcast. How often do you do your podcast?
So when I started doing 5 episodes a week, so Monday to
Uh-huh.
Friday.
Uh-huh.
And this year I decided to lower the number of episodes to release just because I have over 800 episodes. And
Mm-hmm.
I wanted
Oh.
to focus on other ways to elevate Asian women's voices, like doing the book.
Mm-hmm.
And so yeah, I mean, it was crazy trying to get guests. And when you first start, it's not easy because you start with
Okay.
zero and you get a lot of rejection. So imagine I have over 800 women I've interviewed. So you can imagine how many no's I got for not. But it's a part of life. I think people don't realize like being rejected is just a part of life and we can learn to get past through it and embrace it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Then you just
Mm-hmm.
keep moving forward because
Right.
we all go through it. Even some of the most famous people in the world go through a great number of rejection. It's just that sometimes they don't really talk about it or they don't share it, but some of them do share it. Like, you know, the author of Harry Potter was rejected over 50 times about her book. Colonel Sanders was rejected 1,000 times about his fried chicken idea, but yet they're
Oh.
able to still get it. They were still able to move forward and be a success that they are today because they just kept going. You know, they didn't see the no's as a rejection, as a sign of failure. They just said,
Mm-hmm.
okay, well, there's my feedback. I'll move on to the next. And so I
Wow.
think if we can use rejection as feedback and just keep moving forward, then we just keep the building the confidence to move forward and overcome all these obstacles. And so, yeah, I mean, I started doing 5 episodes a week, and then I've been doing it for over 5 years. This season, I decided
Wow.
to do once every 2 weeks now, just because I have so many episodes.
Oh, okay. So for self-esteem and confidence is so important to everybody. You know, you just have to move forward and tell yourself, I am good. I am enough. You
Yeah,
know, it's no limit. It is really no limit that what we human can do. Yeah. So we just have to figure it out. Yeah, right.
yeah.
So what kind of food do you like most in Canada? Do you cook a
Um,
lot?
Well, for the past 2 years, I've been eating like plant-based mostly. And
Mm-hmm.
so I usually eat like, not shawarma, that's meat. Like falafels,
Okay.
tofu dishes, things like that. So I do like, I love food. Food is, of course, as an Asian person, if you don't
Yeah.
love food, something's wrong with you.
I know,
I'm
right?
just
That's
kidding.
right.
Nothing's wrong. I'm kidding. Nothing's wrong with anybody. Everyone's different. But especially living in Toronto, there's so many different cuisines. We're such a
Oh,
multicultural
yeah.
city that we can try everything under the sun. You can get African cuisine, you can get Chinese cuisine, Japanese, Middle Eastern. Sky's the limit. It's just amazing. Jamaican food, you know,
Right.
all over the world. We can get it in the city, which is great, you know, because I always love trying new things and I always want to see like how they make things and just curious why they do the things they
Of
do
course. Of
and like the
course. Of course.
flavors they use to make
The
what makes them
spice.
what makes them unique. And
Hmm.
so, you know, I'm just grateful that I live in such a multicultural city that does offer so many multicultural dishes and multicultural restaurants.
Right.
It's just amazing.
Yeah. I believe 2 years ago, during at this time, on my birthday, I had told my husband that I really want to travel to Toronto. Like I told you before, I watched the Travel Channel about the food, and they were showing all kind of different kind of cultures, especially the authentic Chinese cuisine. Is like, oh my God! Then I found out that at that time it's so cold. You
Yeah.
know, I'll probably get snow too. I used to live in New York for many, many years. So at my age now, I really do not like the cold anymore. That's why I moved out of New York and moved to down South Carolina. Um, so it did not happen, but I believe, I always believe in myself that one day it will happen. I will travel to your city and I will contact you, you know.
Okay, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I had it all planned out. I have checked the airfare. I have checked the hotel to make sure it's in the city walking distance so I can walk to try every different restaurant. Yeah. Um, so what can we share to talk about Asian other than food, eating?
Well, what do you usually ask your guests, when they come on the show?
Well, I asked about their background, and then we talk about your books that is coming out in March and May. What about traveling? Before all this, how often do you travel?
Well, I did travel a lot before the pandemic happened. I was able to, because I live in the Philippines, or I'm born in the Philippines, I went back there a lot, especially because
Hmm.
both my grandmas were are still
Hmm.
alive. I get to spend time with them while they're there and travel to different parts of Asia because it's so much cheaper when you're traveling from
Sure.
Asia to Asia.
Oh,
So I was
yes,
able
that's
to
true.
I was able to go to Japan, to Vietnam, to Thailand, to Bali, to South Korea for like a day. So
Nice.
it's amazing, like just seeing different cultures, different Asian cultures, different
That's
Asian
right.
foods, being able to travel to different parts and just seeing just how they do things in the East versus the West. Also, sometimes it's a culture shock because when you go to these countries, like especially the Philippines, nobody realizes how much poverty there is in the Philippines.
Right.
And if someone who's never been there and's been never realized like what it's like to be there, it's a huge culture shock. If you're not
Yes.
used to seeing like the poverty just when you're driving by, or kids like knocking on your door to ask for money, it's all a
Hmm.
big
Hmm.
total like culture shock, and it makes you realize how lucky you are, because I know
That's
in the
right.
western yeah, I know in the western area sometimes we take things for granted, we complain about simple things, and we have to realize our basic necessities is a luxury for them over there. Not everyone gets to have 3 meals a day, not everyone has a roof over their heads, not everyone gets to take a shower. And so we really have to appreciate every single thing that we have, or
So
else
true.
we'll just take everything for granted. Especially now in the Philippines, they went through these major tropical storms, and one area was
Wow.
totally flooded,
Flooded.
like totally flooded. And there's even an audio where you can hear people screaming as the flood was
Oh, wow.
happening because there was no warning. And so we really have to be grateful for what we have, even if it's a simple thing as clean water, because not everyone gets clean
I
water.
hear you. That's right. Like last year in October, I had traveled to Singapore, back to Singapore and Thailand. Um, I was with my daughter, and I when we travel to Thailand, I bring her to those lower standard of living so she can see how lucky we are. And those houses are like collapsing. They live by the river. They don't have a nice pair of shoes. The food they are eating. Just to open her up that you guys are lucky and stop complaining what you don't have. Why don't you say something and tell people what you have and share, share your knowledge and just stop complaining. Zip it up. Yeah. So I expose her to a lot of stuff. As myself, I love to travel and I always take her along and open her up to see the world, you know. Yeah, it is this new generation, they have not know those olden days, how we eat, the clothing. Nowadays it's all about branded luxury.
Yeah.
Well, good. If you have high education, you got a good job, I guess go ahead. Am I right? Yeah. Um, let's see. Well, we have covered that your podcast and your book. And oh yeah, what is your hobby as an Asian woman?
One of the things I like doing is working out. I like to stay fit and stay healthy as much as I can. Because I also love to eat, I have to burn down the calories. And
Sure.
so that's one of the things I love doing, even though sometimes if I want to do it first thing in the morning, it's such a like a struggle,
Oh
because
well.
like you want to work out, but you're like, I don't want to get out of bed. Especially when it's cold, you just want to stay warm.
No,
And
that's right.
so,
Just like
so that,
this morning has
so
been.
it's like an everyday battle that most people go through when they want to work out. I'm sure everyone feels that way, but after I do it, I feel a lot better. Uh,
Oh,
since the pandemic, some of the things I've started doing was like watch K-drama because I just love the storylines and it's just like so addicting.
yeah,
And
yeah,
so
yeah.
that's one thing I love doing. I also, spend time with my family, especially
Sure.
more now because I know even though we're in lockdown, sometimes everyone's like mental health issues has heightened because they're in lockdown. And so,
Mm-hmm.
I'll just
Mm-hmm.
go to visit at least once a week to see how they're doing. Um, yeah, I mean, just to see my parents or see my nephew, things like that. But people have to realize like they have to find an outlet to release
Of
those
course.
issues because if
Of
not, it's
course.
really gonna like hurt them
Yep.
in the long run. And so I know in the Asian community, it's such a taboo talking about mental health because
Mm-hmm.
they feel
Mm-hmm.
like it's shameful, something's wrong with them, but nothing's wrong with
I
you because
that nope. Absolutely not.
yeah, because as we're all human, we all have some form of mental health issue that we
Of course.
deal with, and especially with the pandemic, when you're on lockdown or you feel trapped, it's gonna heighten up, and you really need to find a way to let that out, whether it's to talk to someone, even seek professional help. It's very important. I mean, it's
Definitely.
there for you to feel better, to heal, and to move
That's a
forward.
good point to share. This is, I always
Yeah,
talk a lot about mental health. Yes, I do. We doesn't matter what age we are, young, baby, anything, any moment we do have some stress moment. If you do not take care of your mental health, it's just like our physical health, you know. Mental health is so important. If you don't balance yourself and get an outlet, like you say, see, the earth is still moving. No matter what is going on, the earth is still moving. We still have to move around to shift the energy, to step out and do something. I'm an active person. I always find something to do. Hardly you can really see me sit doing nothing. Even though I'm sitting on the couch, I'm either reading or I'm drawing. My art. I love my art. If you ask me, like you ask me, hey, Virginia, draw me something, I cannot do it. When it comes to me, a lot of people ask me to draw something, I say, because it comes to me, then I feel, and I just let my hand go. So constantly, I'm moving. You know, my brain keep moving and find something to do, or discuss about what are we going to cook tonight. Without a lot of people try not to go to the store, I still go. I learned how to do curbside pickup. I order it online and then I
yeah.
go and pick it up. Like last night, it was pouring rain over here. Um, I wasn't planning to cook or do anything. I'm try to be lazy, you know. Um, me and my husband learned how to order DoorDash. So we have DoorDash last night.
Nice.
Yeah. So every day is a learning lesson.
Yeah,
Don't
for sure. And you're never
uh,
too old or young to learn
never.
something new.
Exactly. Yeah. So like I say, the earth is moving. We still have to move. Doesn't not matter that it's pandemic and COVID-19. Yes, we do keep the hygiene. Keep go wash your hand and stay a distance for each other. As long as you know how to protect yourself, you know, that would be good. We're not going to just because of this. We're going to sit at home and stare at the TV and doing nothing, not going to the store. So we
Yeah.
still move. Like last week, I traveled to Florida on a road trip with me and my husband, and we go to different towns, different cities, just keep moving. You know,
Yeah.
you're not just going to sit there and wait for everything to get over with. Great, great. So, okay, Sheena, I want to thank you again that come on to this live show and talk about Asian women. I hope next time we can talk more and bring out more topic and share with the whole world, all the Asian Chinese community, that self-esteem and confidence, it is so important, plus our mental health. It is not a shame to share or talk it out with anybody. You can just pick up the phone and call your friends, anybody that you can talk to and you can trust. You know, I do that myself. I go to the professional. I go to um, one of the close friends that really understand me, and you don't have to say anything. You just talk it up and share the story. Yeah, I did not mention that. Talking about mental health, I'm a police wife for many, many years. So my husband is fully retired now. So yeah, it's not easy being a police wife for so many years. I'm talking about 25 years. Um, I'm glad he retired with all this craziness going on. You
Yeah.
know, um, yeah, mental health is very important. So every day I keep reminding myself we are no limit. Just keep moving on. When you're stressed out, you need somebody to talk to, pick up a phone, talk to somebody. Yeah, there's nothing to be ashamed of. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Just believe in ourselves.
Yeah.
Very important. Yeah. All right, dear. So we're gonna stop here right now, and you can post it on your side and share with your friends and family. And hopefully soon I'm gonna catch up with you again to come on to talk about Asian voice it out. I really like this topic. Cool.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks for having me. I appreciate
Thank
this.
you for
And
coming on.
yeah, thanks for
Yes,
having me on
yes.
your show.
Thank you. Namaste. Thank you very much, Sheena Yap
Bye.
Chan. Bye.